2011 in Valence in an area called La Drôme. So it's the story of Mael, who is 22 years old, and he works on a construction site. On Saturday morning at 9 a.m. as he is at work, he receives a phone call on his cell phone, and he suddenly leaves his job without giving any explanation, and he disappears for 3 days. On the morning of the Monday, his boss is surprised that he is not back, and he goes and tells the police. The police go to his apartment to try and find him, but there is no one there, and his car isn't there either. They contact Mael's mother, who tells them that she has not had any news of him for the last 3 days either. They ask her if he has a girlfriend, and she gives the name of Samira with her phone number. When the police track the two phones, they notice that they are both at the same place. They phone Samira's mum, and she has not seen her daughter, and she did not know that she had a boyfriend. Now, the strange thing is that Mael's mother said that the last time she had seen her son, he had given her a big hug and said that he loved her, and this was a little out of character, and it appeared to be like goodbyes. So it seems that the couple had left with Mael's car, a BMW, and they went from Valence all the way down to Nice on Saturday and stayed in a very expensive hotel on the coast. The police contacted the hotel to ask to see the security camera footage. They saw the couple entering, and they saw them again leaving on Sunday. It appears that they drove in the direction of Italy to Livorno. Mael had made another reservation for a room in a 4-star hotel called the Grand Duca. The police conclude that the couple have just gone on a romantic trip, and they don't see anything alarming about it. But Samira's mother is worried. She tells the police that her daughter is a very beautiful young girl, and she does some modeling, and she takes great care of herself, and she is very surprised that Samira would leave for a long weekend without taking any of her personal belongings. No toiletry or makeup or clothes. The police ask her to confirm that she has had no news since Saturday, and she says that actually she had received a text from her daughter on Monday saying that she loves her and that she has left, but not to worry, she will be back. Now, Samira rarely wrote to her mother close to her, and she would usually call her on the phone. They would spend hours talking with each other, and to receive a text message was very surprising. The Italian police was then contacted. The next day at noon in the area of Imperia in northern Italy, a man is heading off to work and he is driving his car down a small lane when he suddenly sees on the side of the road a woman's body lying on the ground. He thinks at first that it is just a shop dummy mannequin, and he stops to have a look. He steps out of the car and he sees that she is slightly moving. She is driven straight away to Imperia Hospital after he had called for an ambulance. The woman had been shot in the head, but she was still alive. The police tried to find out her identity, and they found out that she was a missing woman from France, and that she was Samira. She had no personal belongings with her, no identity card, no purse, nothing. Samira's mother was informed, and she asked for her daughter to be transferred to a French hospital in Marseille. When she arrives, doctors don't have much hope for her daughter. They said that she has been shot in the back of the head and that the bullet was lodged into her brain. The doctor told Samira's mother that they were going to operate and do a brain surgery to remove the bullet, but that the chances of surviving were very low, and that if she did survive, she would never go back to a healthy state. The surgery took 10 hours, and Samira survived. She opened her eyes, but she was unable to speak, and she did not recognize any of her loved ones. But maybe with time and the help of a therapy, she would be able to say what had happened to her. Police in Valence are now looking for Mael. Up to this point, the case had been a suspicious disappearance, but they were now talking about a murder attempt. Italian police examined the location where she was found, but there was not a single clue. Samira had nothing with her when she was found. No phone, no handbag, no ID. But there was news of Mael Combier. He was back in France, in the area of Valence. He had been using his credit card to stay in a first-class hotel. Police went straight to the hotel with a photo of Mael to question the hotel staff, and they confirmed that they had seen him. Security cameras have recorded him going in and out of the hotel. Then Samira very much in love with Mael, that made no doubt. But recently, she had found out that Mael was married. Mael, now 22, had married with a school friend at the age of 18. Mael cheated on his wife, and Samira wasn't the first. Samira was angry when she found out, and Mael said that he was about to divorce. But when police searched Mael's apartment, they found 17 pictures laid out on the floor. 17 ultrasound pictures. Not only was Mael married, but he was expecting a baby with his wife. On the 4th of March 2011, Mael presents himself to the police and he is immediately put under arrest. And he admits having shot Samira. He said that he had lost his patience, that Samira was just an extra girlfriend, but that she wanted things to get serious, and that she had started pestering him and harassing him. He said that she would call him up to 100 times a day, and he couldn't take it anymore. But was he not exaggerating? The phone call records showed that he was telling the truth. Samira had called him up to 150 times in one single day, and an average of 1,000 calls per month. But was this an excuse to shoot someone? Mael tells the police what happened the evening before the couple left for Italy. They had argued. It was Friday night and she had bumped into him in a nightclub and found him kissing another girl. She screamed and left the club and scratched his car with a key. He got mad and it ended up in a fight with Samira's cousins. Mael said that he was very scared because they told him they were going to kill him and that they had a gun. The next day he left work and went to buy himself a gun. But that still doesn't explain why he shot Samira. His answer was that it was an accident. He didn't go to Italy to shoot her. He didn't leave with the intention of hurting her. He said he went off with her to set things straight with her and put an end to their relationship. When they arrived in Imperia, they had another argument, and he pulled out his gun. He said he didn't want to shoot her. He just wanted to scare her, and that the gun just shot. It was an accident. Police asked him if it was an accident, why didn't you call for help? As she was still breathing, he said that when he saw her fall to the ground, he got scared and drove away. And then when you were back in France, asked the police. He said he felt lost and he wandered about for days. He didn't understand what was happening to him and thought that the best thing would go to the police and tell the whole truth. Mael was under arrest for attempted murder, but police didn't buy his story. Why go to Italy to end the relationship? Why use her credit card after the shooting? As days go by, Samira is making progress. She is starting to pronounce a few words. At first in a very slow and weak voice, but she is able to be understood. It has been 8 months since she has been shot, and the police are finally allowed to question her. She is still very fragile, but she remembers everything. She explains that on February the 26th, on a Saturday, the day she went missing, Mael came to pick her up in front of her house. He said he wanted to talk to her. She didn't want to, but he insisted. And she agreed because she said she loved him. She got into his car and he offered to take her away for the weekend. He took the motorway and she asked where he was taking her. He said Spain, but as she refused to go, he changed route and headed for Nice, and then Italy. Police asked why did she agree to go to Italy, and she said because she was in love. In Nice all went well, and on Monday they were driving when Mael left the main road to go down a small lane. She asked him where they were going, and he said that he had something he needed to get rid of. They drove up near a dump and he stopped the car. He got out and made her get out as well. He took his gun and pressed it against the back of her neck and said, "You are going to die." She said she replied, "Shoot if you're a man." And he fired. She had been executed. Her version was not anything like Mael had said. He had driven her to Italy to kill her. This was not an accident. 1 year later, police find the gun, and it is sent to be analysed. Mael had said the gun had fired by accident, but this gun was a revolver. To fire with a revolver, you first have to pull back the hammer and then press the trigger. This is a double action gun, and Mael's firearm was actually quite difficult to handle. It had a bit of a grip and it could not have gone off by accident. This was clearly an attempted murder. This is what the judge concluded. Mael left work on Saturday morning after the row on Friday night. He bought a gun and went out to try it out, and then went to get Samira, telling her they were going away on a romantic trip. Knowing he had planned to kill her abroad, in the hope that it will be more difficult to identify her body outside of France. On realizes that one day she might be able to talk, so he has to change his plan and decides to go to the police and make up a story that it was an accident. But Samira is able to talk and speak the truth. This is the conclusion of the judge after a 2-year investigation. He is being judged for murder, theft and fraud. Trial opens 3 years later in 2014. Samira arrives in a wheelchair. Did Mael have the intention of killing her when leaving for Italy? Or did he just have that gun out of fear and, as he claimed, things later went wrong? Everyone present at the trial found Mael to be a very good-looking, polite and a gentle young man, and quite seducing. A brain surgeon explains that Samira recovered 80% of her abilities during the first year, and that the progress slowed down after that, and that she will be in need of assistance for the rest of her life. Mael's defense team bring in Mael's friends to testify that Mael was not someone who was ever violent, and that he did buy the gun out of fear after the death threats from Samira's cousins. Mael's lawyer also reminds the jury of the constant phone calls he was receiving by Samira. His lawyer points out that Mael did nothing to hide. He took his own car and he had his phone with him. He took her on a trip to try and calm things down. He was scared of the cousins who said they were going to blow up his apartment and his car. He tried to kill her because he was exhausted by all this, by Samira's pressure on him, calling him all the time. In the end, Mael was sentenced to 13 years in prison. This is a very light punishment for a premeditated attempt of murder. When life imprisonment is the usual sentence, people were wondering if there was a relation between the fact that he presented himself in such a charming manner, and did this have an influence on the jury's decision. It is not uncommon for people to associate criminals with ugliness, and they find it difficult to condemn a pleasant, handsome young man. Recently thinking about this, about whether the jury seeing the suspect, does it change their opinion, whether the person is good looking or not? And it reminded me that I just saw recently a very evil person, a very nasty person who happens to have an ugly face, but more than that, it's the eyes. You cannot sustain their eyes because the ugliness is really inside them, and they say that the eyes are the mirror of the soul.